Alright guys, I'm going to knock out this little thing here. I got this in the mail today. I ordered this off of eBay. It was like, I don't know, 10 or 11 bucks. This is basically a USB charging station, I guess is what you could call it. Charging plug. Instead of using, you know, just the cigarette lighter part, I thought this would be really trick. A little hideaway thing here. But you know, this is the ashtray from a 55. This is not the original ashtray from this car, but anyway, what I have done is I've actually removed the rivets. It has factory rivets in it, 2 per side, and I removed the rivets and then pulled the face of it off, but it goes on there pretty much like that. But what I've decided to do is I'm going to put that charge station inside that ashtray. So I've made a template here out of paper, and I've got it bent. Now I've got these ends too long. I'm going to end up trimming these down, but this will basically fit up in here, something about like that. Now I have to get this down below. If you can see this square cutout right here, I have to get it down below that. So it's going to go in something about like somewhere down about there. That way when this tab's pushed in, the ashtray can be, you know, removed or installed, because this does have to go down in there. I doubt it needs to go all the way down, pressing that all the way down, but anyway, I've got plenty of room. But anyway, I'm going to end up drilling a hole here and drilling a hole here to screw to that metal tab, and then I'll just do one in the middle on the front to hold that tab up here. It doesn't really need 2 on both sides, because 2 here will basically hold it to keep it from pivoting side to side. It's just a pretty basic deal I'm going to make here, but I'll end up hole sawing a hole in it for this USB charging port here, and it comes with a little plastic spanner style nut to attach it. It also has this little dust cover, a little flip top cover that goes on it, and it did come with a inline fuse and a little wiring harness there. But anyway, that will basically be down inside that ashtray, so when it's not in use, the ashtray can be closed and it's out of sight, out of mind. Now to get the wires down in here, I haven't decided yet exactly whether I'm going to put it in here, which more than likely it probably will be in here. I thought about the bottom, but probably more than likely to be here, but I'm going to use a little rubber grommet I have here. The inside hole diameter of that grommet, it's kind of big, just for 2 wires, but I want to be able to pull my plastic insulated spades off of it and be able to pull them through the grommet, so that way I don't have to pull grommet at all just to pull the harness out. So anyway, I'll step bit a hole in there or something like that and install that for the wiring, but keep it from chafing. Anyway, I'm going to end up using an aerosol bed liner and spray it on here so it'll look like a textured, you know, finish. Kind of reminds me just like a textured plastic to me is what that stuff looks like. It's a real fine coating. Anyway, I will reattach it here with these little stainless steel Allen buttons. These are 632, and I did have to open these holes up just a little bit to get those to fit, but I've got some stainless steel nylon lock nuts here, which it sucks. I only have 3, so I'll have to go get some more sometime. But anyway, so I ended up blasting this with my portable blaster, and I shot it with just some Duplicolor aluminum engine enamel because I had it here. I just coated it basically so it wouldn't rust. But anyway, this will be really cool for her because she'll have a little charge station. You know, it's out of sight, out of mind, instead of using the, you know, pulling out. The thing that I thought about was, you know, if you want to put in a plug-in in your cigarette lighter, which she could do that, but you have to put the cigarette lighter somewhere, and you know, the cigarette lighter, you undo it and then you have to plug that thing in, and then where do you put the cigarette lighter? So I thought this would just be a little bit cooler of a thing. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to get started. I'm going to transfer my template here to sheet metal and then figure out from there what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to I've got a pretty big sheet of sheet metal in there I'm going to use, just some thin stuff, but I will mark this out and then find center, and I'm going to go ahead and hole saw that hole while that whole sheet metal piece is together. It's going to be easier for me to hold on to, so let's get started. So I'm actually just doing some mock-up. I've got to make sure I have clearance for all the screws and the bolts and everything. So it's been quite a mess, really. But I've still got some fine detail dolly work to do to it to get it really nice. And I still got to put 2 holes in this piece, the center piece I made, to screw into from the back. So I've got this part screwed in here, and the ashtray face goes on. There's a lot of space in between that and this, so there's plenty of clearance, but I had to bring it down low enough to get it below this tab right here. So I mean, it fits on there pretty good. It's a little tight right there, but anyway, so that's about how it's going to be. Now I had to cut off the thumb tab here. It has a little thumb tab. I actually had to cut that off because it's too long. This is just about as big as it can get in that small space. So I had to trim that down. So I've still got some finish work to do on that as well, but I ended up having to notch it and fold a tab down back here. But I'll have to work these ends to dolly them out a little bit. I cut the bottom of the ashtray out, a little window in the bottom of it. But anyway, I didn't, it's not locked in all the way, but once it's locked in, this tab comes in a lot closer, and I will have to use a like a plastic trim tool that I have in there. I call it a dog bone. I'll have to use that to push that down if I ever need to pull this out of the dash, which once everything's painted and it's wired up and once I install it, there's really no need to ever take it out unless I'm repainting the dash or if I have to replace the unit that, you know, for it, you know, frying or whatever. I'm happy with it. It's going to work pretty good. Man, that was a head scratcher because it's just such tight place in there, tight space. I wanted to put it more of an angle, but I can't because that thing is really long and it kind of gets really close to the body of that in there. And then I had the 2 spades coming out of the back of it, the power and ground, and I actually had to bend them sideways. I'm gonna have to use some 90-degree spades on it to make it work. But I do have some plastic insulated 90-degree spades that I'll put on there. So anyway, I think it'll end up looking kind of nice. Really, really cool. All right, 2.5 hours later, my goodness. So I don't have the nuts on these little stainless Allen buttons because I've got to take it back apart to paint the face here when I paint the dash. But anyway, I basically cut the bottom out of the ashtray so I'd have plenty of room for my wires. I am going to put a little bit of loom on here just so it doesn't get up against this edge and, you know, chafe the wire, which it's got an inline fuse, so it's not a super big deal, but I'm still going to do that. You know, I put 90-degree wiring connectors on there, spades, and it really kind of helped out a little bit. But I went ahead and sanded down and repainted the main body here because I had it pretty scratched up. It's going to scratch right here on both sides because it has metal tabs in there that, you know, rub right there on both sides. But anyway, can't put the dust cover on here. It's too thick and it poses a problem, but that's pretty much it after I put it together. I think it turned out pretty nice. I'm happy with that. I mean, it sucks I can't put the dust cover on it, but it's not a super big deal. Anyway, I'll stick it back on the dash and see what I can get it to look like here. All right, so I do have a brand new pair of rubber bumpers that go in behind here. If you did not know that, there's 2 slots on the back side right here and here. There's little rubber bumpers that go in there. If you do not have any in there, it'll cause that to be, you know, misaligned with your glove box door. And I've noticed on mine that it's actually sitting in there at an angle, and this the bracket that screws into the back of the dash is actually a little bit of adjustable, so I need to loosen the screws off and actually twist it a little bit, and it'll help with that. But anyway, that is what it looks like when it's open. So now she has a, well, and myself as well, has a charging port there for our cell phones or whatever. Pretty awesome. 2.5 hours of work for that stupid little thing, though. Thanks for watching.